Welcome back to Carmen with Cherished Legacies, and we're on Basics 4. This is going to be my last basics, and we're talking about in the Lightbox editing tool, and we're going to go into this one. I skipped in the last one. So just to show you where this is, I've double-clicked on my file, and then I go to Edit, and you're going to see this come up. And it's this adjust one that I skipped last video. If you haven't seen the rest, go back to my last video. But this one, this is under adjust. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not technical. And if you start to explain all these things technically to me, I don't understand. But what I did is went through each of them, and I'm going to kind of show you what happens when you use it and my final result. So what I'm going to do is go in order through these, starting with brightness and one at a time, just so you see. And when you open one up, you can see it has this. This is decrease and increase. And I will show you in this document what the effect of. So another thing is, I don't think I've shown you, you can zoom in. So I've zoomed in on this one so you can have a little bit better look. In the middle is the original photo. So this is not a great photo. It's an important photo for me. So it's our 50th state, and this was the first video we took in the first photo we took in our 50th state. So I wanted to see if I could make it better. You can see you couldn't really see our faces very well. I'll show you there. Also, it was windy, the hairs in my face, all that. So I just was going to play around with this. So as you can see, brightness is the first, and it does what you think, okay? So this one I don't even think is all the way to decreased or increased, because it would have been totally white or black. But you can see it's going to lighten it up, and the brightness is going to decrease it. I find that this one isn't as helpful to me as other ones, because usually it's just too bright when I start going, and it throws other things off. The next is saturation, okay? Saturation is the color and how bright and how intense, probably is a good word, of how that color will be. So you can see increased. Look how blue the blues are and greens the greens are. And even in our shirts, it picked up that red and blue when you increased it. So if the color is dull, like in this photo, I like the fact that it increased. It did not help our faces, but it did help the colors. I'd like that. And the opposite, you can see it will almost go, it goes gray, like black and white, because you're taking that saturation of color out. The next one you will see down here is contrast. Whoop, let's go down a little bit here. There we go. Contrast. Okay, so then it is taking the lights and making the lights lighter and the darks darker. And you can see you increase how much darker our shirts got, how much the blue looks bluer, kind of like the saturation, but you can see how some of the greenery is a lot darker. This is darker. And the opposite, you can see it kind of whitewashed it out. It didn't do very much contrast when you decreased it. And you can see the difference there. I still like the saturation actually better there. Okay, this is a new one to me. This is another one where it's a lot like contrast, but a little bit different in that you can see the darks didn't get quite as dark. I think this one was all the way up. I'm not sure. I encourage you to go in and play with it, but you can see how the this one, it almost took all of the clouds out. Okay, and that blue out, whereas the contrast, look at the difference in the clouds. And how the dark is a lot darker than this one in the gamma. Okay, now we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to clarity. We're going to zoom in on clarity. Clarity, making something sharper. You can see this is more pixely, more fuzzy. This one is a little bit sharper. It can, if you go too far in clarity, get to where it almost, if you looked at this one picture, look, it almost looks pixelated, right? This doesn't look, you know, it starts to look not as real. Exposure is one that a lot of times that's probably what happened to this photo is underexposed. So I increased it, but I probably increased it too much because you can see the clouds in the sky went away with this one. But I do like what it did to the faces, right? Because this is one of the first ones where you can really see the faces. So maybe a little less exposure, but a little less exposure to see the faces, but not so much that I lose the whole sky. And I like this more than the bright. When the brightness just makes the whole thing look whitewashed to me. Where this one, it really brings out, you can still see the us fairly well in the things in the foreground. It's just the background became a little fuzzy or a little out. Shadows, you would think that that would have helped. You can see increasing the shadows just made it worse. Even decreasing the shadow here, it made our faces look more decreased. So it did not, shadows did not help at all at this one. Highlights, look how much brighter the sky is in this one. When I increase the highlights here. Okay, the next one is white. Of course, white, if you increase white, you can tell, look how much whiter these clouds are in here. Whiter, there's my shirt that had some white in it. And the white actually lightened up what we had on. So all of this piece looks a bit darker, I mean lighter. I like that. Obviously taking white out. Did the opposite. Increasing black here, you can, it almost looks like brightness. Look, there's a white thing decreasing the black. It had the opposite effect that I thought it would. You can look at there, it looks actually more black when you put the decrease of black. The last one is temperature. And so think of temperature as hot and cold. When you increase, it's going to have more oranges and yellows in it. When you decrease, it's going to have more blues. So this was a great example showing you those two. Obviously, you wouldn't probably normally, unless you were trying to some fun effect, want it that extreme. But maybe if you're doing a sunset, you want the sunset a little bit orange, you might want to increase the temperature. Or if you were doing the water and you want the water to look more blue, then you would come in, you would decrease the temperature of it. So here's my final photo. What I did a mixture. The sky is not exactly what I like. I would like to have more clouds, but you can see our faces more, our shirts. You can see how much brighter we are. And this was a mix. I just went in there and played. And that's what I encourage you to do, is go in there, play. This is several different ones. Don't think you have to do one or the other. You can do a mixture. So you can go in and do a little, I think I did exposure. I might have done a little contrast. I did a few of these, and this is what I came up with. Okay, that's it. I hope that's helpful. If you would like these pages to have, just let me know and I can send this PDF to you. And I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye.